answer one major question that I got since last week, which is pimples. Many people, many women have been asking me, Kangai, I have issues with pimples and with breakouts. What are some of the reasons for it, and how can I, help my situation in my skin? Well, I was just speaking with MJ, and she told me that one of the reasons that, I hope you're okay with me saying this on air. Okay. One of the reasons she mentioned that she has gotten breakouts was because of a pregnancy, and that is one of the major reasons that women go through reactions like this. And that one is genetic. It's a normal human process. You can't change it. Nothing is going to change that. So if you are going through pregnancy or post-pregnancy and you have pimples, just wait it out. Of course, keep on your skincare regimen. So we already talked about it this morning. There is cleansing, toning, treating, moisturizing, and then you protect with SPF in the morning. In the evening, you don't need to protect with SPF because you're going to bed. Okay, so that's one reason you could get pimples. But then, of course, another reason is puberty. We all go through that. One of the other major reasons that many people also don't think about is the number of surfaces that your skin touches on any given day. And the first one is your hands. So if you're always touching your face, for example, there are people who have, yes, there are people who are constantly touching. It could be very subconscious. So if you're constantly picking or touching your face, please remember that your hands touch pretty much everything. They touch pens, they touch a mouse pad, they touch a computer, they touch doors. If you go to the bathroom and you wash your hands, when you're leaving the bathroom, you still have to open the door. Do you know how many germs are on the handle of a door of a bathroom? There are many. There are many. And then on top of that, you're moving that to your face. So try as much as you can to always keep your hands clean and to keep them away from your face. Then the next reason many people get breakouts or pimples is this guy. So for those of you who use a phone and you're putting your phone up to your face, again, there's a number of germs that are on your phone. So one way you can do it is, or one way you can clean out your phone is just use an antibacterial wipe, or even use cotton with surgical spirit, and just go over and wipe it every so often, preferably maybe once a day, because this is also one of the main germ transferring devices, if I can call it that. And then one other place that you can get a lot of germs on your skin is your pillows. So for those of you who do not change your sheets or your pillows at least once a week, you must change them once a week. And then also the washcloth that you use when you bathe. Do you use the same washcloth on your face and on your body? Tell the truth. Do you guys? I'm sure you do. So always switch it out. Use a washcloth for your face and then something else for the rest of your body. Same with your towel when you're drying your face after you shower, after you bathe. Use separate towels for your face and for the rest of your body. Again, you're trying to minimize the transferring of germs. And then your pillowcase has so many dead skin cells. It has cells from your hair. It has so many cells that would not be really good to maintain your beautiful clean skin. So in terms of things that you can do to maintain clean and pimple-free skin, those are some of the tips that you guys can try. All right? So now let's move on to the rest of MJ's face. And as you have seen, we did her foundation, and her skin is pretty much flawless right now. And I blended everything in with a brush like this. This is a synthetic brush or a kabuki brush. I personally do not recommend the usage of, like, the sponges that come, let me show you guys, the sponges that come in one of these sponges. I do not recommend that you use these sponges because they will, again, bacteria. Have you noticed that after a long time using a powder sponge, it starts to smell really nasty? Yeah. So that is bacteria that you just continually transfer onto your face. So try to use brushes as often as possible and try to wash them. If you're using them on yourself, you can wash them maybe once or twice a week. But because for me, I have such a huge client base, I wash them every single time I work with a client. Then the next thing I used for MJ's face is this. This is a powder by MAC. This is a mineralized skin finish. Now the reason I did not use a normal powder, like the powders that you can get by Sleek or by Black Up or by MAC or by Black Opal, which have really, really high pigments, is because we used a very highly pigmented foundation. Remember what we started with was her skin has pimples and she has some scarring and she has pretty much hyperpigmented skin. What that means is that it's just different shades of skin tones on your face. So if you have pimples and they disappear and you have those black marks, that's hyperpigmentation. If you have dark under eye circles, that's also hyperpigmentation. So what I did is I used one product, which is, which number was it? Yes, 17. So you even remember, it was 17, right? So this is my Black Up, and it is a mattifying fluid foundation. And as you can see, her skin is still beautiful and concealed and matte, and it covered everything. So when people ask me, okay, do I need a foundation or do I need a foundation and a concealer? I personally recommend that you just go straight in with a foundation that has high coverage, especially if that is what you want. If you want to tone it down, maybe you don't want that much coverage, all you need to do is mix this in with a moisturizer. So whatever moisturizer you're using on your face, just use half of this and half of what you would use for your moisturizer, blend it in, and then it'll just give you a beautiful sheer base and a beautiful sheer coverage. Alright? So that's why I went in with this powder. This powder does not have a lot of, I would say, pigment, but it does have, which is really interesting, it does have a beautiful finish to the skin. It provides a beautiful finish to the skin because it has some shimmery, sparkly particles inside it. So it doesn't leave your skin looking like, you know, a crusty, dry piece of paper or something. You're not going to end up looking really dry, even though you have oily skin, that's what you want. The end effect is you want your makeup to last a long time. You don't necessarily want it to look dry. You know what I mean? So that's why I used this product, and Sleek also carries a number of these that you can also purchase here in Nairobi. So if you notice, what I did is I took it mostly in the center of her face, kind of like the foundation. Start in the center of your face, then you move whatever is left on your brush to the perimeter of the skin. Alright? And you should be able to do this in like 5 minutes maximum. Okay, then I did promise you something. I promised that I would do her eyes with my hands, which you can do. And here I'm just using a very normal, neutral eyeshadow palette. This is one of my favorites in the world. And the reason I really like it is because it has a number of eyeshadows that you would be interested in. First of all, the colors. The colors are very neutral. They're very brown, normal colors, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because what I really like is I just like to enhance someone's features using neutral tones. And what I found also here in Kenya is many women like neutral tones. So this is a perfect eyeshadow palette for you if you're looking for something that doesn't have, you know, bright colors or pops of color. That's one reason I really like this palette. The other reason I like it is it has a mixture of two types of eyeshadows. Okay, so the first type of eyeshadow is, let me show you, there are 4 of them. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what these eyeshadows are is that they're matte, so they don't have any shimmery effect to them, so they're not going to reflect light. So these are the ones that you can wear maybe during the day if you just don't want, or if you want something really simple, or you can even wear them in the evening depending on how you apply them. Then the other colors that I really like are these ones that are really shimmery that you can see. Now what these do is they provide a really bright pop of color, so that whenever you put eyeshadow on, you can actually look like you're wearing eyeshadow. But then they're also still more neutral, so you don't have to worry too much about going crazy about color. But I do love color, I do. So I'm not, you know, negating the fact that you can't use color. So for today, I'm going to use my hands, and I'm going to use a number of colors here and a number of colors here. Now because MJ's skin tone is slightly darker, I would have to use something maybe a little bit brighter so that it pops against her skin. So I'm going to take my ring finger. The reason I'm using my ring finger is because it has the least amount of pressure, and it is, I think if I'm correct, it's the weakest finger in your hand. So whenever you're going to apply any sort of product with your ring finger, it's the best finger to use, because again, you want to be very gentle with the skin around your eyes. Okay, so the first color I'm going to use is, I'm going to go in with this color. I'm just going to take it with my ring finger like this. Alright, and it's really pigmented. Alright, close your eyes and then lower your chin. Alright, so I'm just going to use a tiny bit, and I'm just going to pat it right in the center of her eyelid. Alright, okay, and you can immediately tell the difference between this eye and that eye. I hope you can. All right. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And again, all I'm doing is I'm just raise your chin a little bit. I'm just literally just packing the color on. I'm not wiping it on. I'm pushing it into the eyelid. All right. Okay. And then in the inner corner, I'm just going to kind of, just so I can get right in there, I'm just going to wipe it in. But for the rest of the eye, you just need to push it in. And then what you need to do, after I wipe off on a tissue, you can take any other finger, kind of like your middle finger, and what you want to do is you want to blend out the edges. So for those of you who watch videos and you see what I do online, this is the same thing as using a blending brush to blend out your crease area. But if you don't have a brush, you can always use your fingers. And the reason you want to do this is so that whenever you look up, you can see that, or rather you don't want to find that you can see a line between your eyeshadow and your skin. You know, you want to make everything look very blended. All right, so that's one color. You can use whichever sort of color that you want, but that's the color I chose for today. Then, just to give it a little bit of a kind of like a smoky, sexy sort of a look, I'm just going to go in with the darkest color, still with my ring finger that I wiped off. And this is a really dark color. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's really, really dark. And all I'm doing is I'm just pushing it into the outer corner, just like that. And that is the easiest way to create a smoky eye, which is another question I always get, which is how do I quickly create a smoky eye? All right, of course, there's many different ways that you can do that, but this is kind of like the easiest way to create a smoky eye. And this is also really cute for daytime, because I think it actually matches what you're wearing, MJ. It's matching this. Nice. Kind of cool. All right. So that's the easiest way to create a smoky eye. And if you notice, I've only used 2 colors from this palette. You can use whichever color combination that you want. All right. So I just wanted to move now. Done with the eyes. Let's move into the eyebrows. All right. One of the tools I always recommend that you have is this. This is an eyebrow spoolie or an eyebrow brush, and it's such an amazing tool because first of all, it's really cheap. You can find them for, gosh, really, really cheap here in Nairobi, and you will use it for a very long time before it breaks down. And the reason I really like it is it just grooms your eyebrows really, really well. All right, because what you want to do is you want to place all the eyebrow hairs in a specific position such that when you're going in to fill them in with your pencil, everything is going to look really good. Okay, so if you remember from last week, if you were watching last week, I showed you a number of pencils that I like in terms of eyebrow pencils. One of them is this one by Sleek. It's the eyebrow pencil in brown. It's available here in Kenya as well. I really like this pencil because it is more of a dry pencil. So if you have oily skin, this is perfect for you because it's not going to move, right? So if I was to draw it right here, and you'll notice that it's a little bit waxy, so it's not going to move throughout the day. What does that mean? It means that if you have oily skin and go and hug someone, you're not going to leave your eyebrow on their face. That's very important, all right? So the first thing I'm going to go in with is this pencil, all right? And the easiest way to fill in your eyebrows is to fill in your natural eyebrow. There's a very long video I have on my channel about eyebrows, and if I get into that, we'll be here until 11. Don't want that. But if you want to watch that, just go to my channel. But for today, all you need to do is just focus on the actual shape of the eyebrow. You know how you were born with your eyebrows is pretty much what you need, because you can see where the eyebrow begins right here. You can also see where it's supposed to be high right here. This is the highest section, and then of course you're going to see where it ends, because that's where the eyebrow hair disappears and ends. So all I'm going to do is pretty much follow the shape of her eyebrow and then down. Now because you're a beginner, I'm not going to go straight into, you know, cleaning up the eyebrow and creating that beautiful arched brow. You don't need that. You just need to kind of fill it in very, very easily, very simply, just making it a little bit darker, right? Now again, because MJ's skin tone is slightly darker, what I will do is I will go back in with an eyebrow liner. This one is by Flomar, which I really like. This is one of my favorite eyebrow products ever. And the reason I like it is waterproof and it's water-based. Amazing for oily skin. So, but the thing is, because it's a pen, it's like a marker, you have to be very careful with how you apply it. Now, because she's darker, I'm just going to use this one. This one is in shade number 5, which is dark brown. And all I'm doing is I'm just going over what I did before and then just angling it down, right? So at the front of the hairs right here, what you need to do is you need to just draw upwards. You kind of want to mimic the fact that there's hair growing in the correct direction, right? And then blend down. Okay. And then after that, I always go back in with my spoolie because you want to blend everything in again. So make sure you blend it all in very, very well. Okay. So at the front of the brow, I always push up, then I blend this way, and then down. And at the head of the brow, to blend everything, I actually do it in the opposite direction. So I'm actually moving it this way, and then up, and then down. Alright? So what that has done is, it has given her a, you can even tell the difference between this eyebrow and the other one, where we've given her some dimension. I like that word with makeup. We've given her a little bit of dimension, we've given her a little bit of structure, but it's not in your face, you know what I mean? So if you're a beginner, this would be perfect for you, okay? So another pencil I also like, which is also available here, is this one by Black Up. I love Black Up products, again, because they're formulated for women of color. And this one is also very similar to the sleek pencil in brown in terms of the shade, but this one is a little bit creamier, meaning if you have dry skin or normal combination skin, this is the pencil for you. So what you need to do is just, again, same thing, fill in with very short strokes. If you notice, I'm not coloring in. This is not, we're not playing, we're not coloring, we're not markering in anything. We're just using very short strokes because you want to kind of mimic the fact that there's hair growing from your skull, right? So very, very, very short strokes, right? All the way to the highest point of the eyebrow. Alright, and then when you get to the highest point, you just angle it downwards, just really lightly. Okay. And then, now that we're done with that, I'm just going to go back in with my eyebrow pen or marker. And I'm just going to do the same thing. Now, I know a number of you are going to ask, why do I have to do both? Now, again, MJ has oily skin. She's like me, we both have oily skin. So you want to kind of have the most impact for your product, and you don't want to hug someone and leave your eyebrow on their face. So the reason I always kind of do both is the pencil for me gives the structure, it gives the shape very well, and then the pen comes in and just gives depth, right? And also longevity. Okay? So it's going to last a very, very long time. Right? Because I'm assuming if you're a beginner in makeup, you're also doing other things like, you know, going to school, or you have a job, or you're a mom. So you don't want to have to keep on going to find out if, you know, parts of your makeup are still on your face every single time. Alright? Okay? So that is her eyebrows done. So very simple, very straightforward. Now the next section I like to get into is eyeliner. Many people ask me, okay fine, Kangai, do I have to use eyeliner? Actually, you don't have to use eyeliner. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you a hack or a trick where you don't have to actually buy multiple products. You can buy one product and it's going to work as many different things. So I'm going to go back in with my eyebrow pen, the dark brown one by Flomar. And I like using this also as a liner. And all you're going to do is you're just going to line literally the top lash line, okay? So I'll have you close your eyes. So as you notice, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it flat against the skin. I'm not holding it, you know, like this. I'm not holding it pointing towards your skin. I'm holding it flat against the skin so that you can get the maximum amount of product on your skin in a very quick way. Okay? See that? So flat against the skin, and all you're doing is you're literally tracing above your lash line. That is it. So it's going to be very simple. And the reason I also like brown is because it's very daytime appropriate. You're not going to show up to work and have your boss ask you questions. So this is going to be very daytime appropriate, and if you're a beginner, something like dark brown you can mess up with, and it's not going to show up so much than if you actually use black. All right, so let me have you turn this way. Okay, so just make sure you get as close to your lash line as possible. Right, and another reason I really like these pencils, or rather these pens, is because they're actually much longer than a normal liquid liner, if you notice. So normal liquid liners that come in a pen are much shorter, so if you were to draw things in, you'd possibly mess up a little bit more. This one is really foolproof, and as you can see, let me just show you how dark this is. It's really, really dark. So this is really, really great for those of you who have darker skin tones, because that's a question I always get. I have really dark skin tones, what products work for me? So this is one that would work for you, especially for your eyebrows or even for your liner. Okay, now I wanted to skip mascara today, mainly because many people, from what I get, you have very sensitive eyes. So mascara is kind of a yes and no for many people. If you like mascara, you can go ahead and put it on. If you don't like it, that's also up to you. I personally, for a beginner, like to kind of err on the side of sensitivity, because I have had lots of clients who have sensitive eyes. So if you're going with mascara, it just ends up the eyes getting red, start tearing. But definitely get into mascara if you like it. All right, now for the rest of the face, okay, we're done with the face. Your skincare is done, your foundation is done, as you can see, your eyebrows are done, your eyeliner is done, your eyeshadow is done, and everything that's left is the lips. Now again, I'm going to go back to my trick about showing you that you don't have to use many different things. I'm going to use my eyebrow pencil as a lip liner. Okay, now lip liners are really cool because it just gives your lips structure, it gives your lips form, and it gives your lips something really pretty. Like you can create a really pretty shape with an eyeliner or the lip liner. And today I'm using an eyebrow pencil for her lip liner, and I'm only going to use lip balm to fill it in. Okay.